he will have zera. Zera means descendants. You know, as I know, that Jesus never had children. Please explain me, the most important mitzvah in Judaism is the first mitzvah from 613, the first one, which makes it very important, is to marry man and woman. And the marriage institution is the holiest thing in God's eyes. How is it possible that the Christian church took one of the foundation of the world and made the priests unable to marry and have children when it contradicts one of the most important foundation of God? Please tell me how a person that you refer to God was hungry one day walking with the students. And this is in the book of Mark, chapter 11. You can write it down. The next day he entered Jerusalem and Jesus was hungry. And he saw from far away a fig tree that has plenty of leaves. And he started to get closer to the tree. Maybe he will find some fruit to eat. He came to the tree and he found no fruit other than leaves, because it was not the proper season for the tree to give fruit. And he,
out of paper, by the way.
yes, and which, you know, very good. You know, there's no coincidence. So it says like this: I'm cursing. I'm glad you enjoy, but please, we are now only arguing to find the truth. We're going to shake hands, we'll stay friends. Nothing here is personal. I want to say it again. The point here, I'm asking questions that if we're going to get the answer to all these questions that we ask, we have a very serious problem. Why? Because we declare always that if you find one mistake in the Torah, that's going to be the end of Judaism. One mistake, not two. And we have very many mistakes that we highlight, as some of that you heard from me. And if we're going to get the answers to all these contradictions and all these impossible things, then we are people that seeking for the truth. We're going to have to double check our future. But I'm continuing with what I said. He was very hungry and he was looking for what to eat. There was nothing to eat. And he went close to the fig tree and he saw some leaves. And what did he do? He cursed the tree. Correct me if I'm wrong. He cursed the tree and says, nobody will ever eat fruit from you. Question number one regarding to this. If I am God, or the Spirit of God is in me, that means I'm a superpower. That means I'm supposed to save the world. That means when I look at the tree, one time a student asked him, can you tell us how many leaves on the tree? And he said, let me get closer and count. If I am God, I need to go to the tree and start counting how many leaves. Oy va'avoy if we have such God, that we have to count how many leaves. How can we even waste a second with this kind of God? And I'm not saying it as a joke, don't get me wrong. This is a solid point, please answer. And the most important thing, what is the crime of the tree? That God made a rule in nature that the tree has only a few months in Israel, as you know he lived in Israel, that he can give fruit. And that was not the time of the fruit. Why the tree has to be cursed that he'll never give fruit? Please. And why would God be interested to curse something that he made? Plus, the next question, tell me please, Jesus said in the New Testament in Matthew 24, if a person come and make magics to you and give you signs that he is the Messiah, do not believe him. This is his words. Because there are many falsified messiahs and false prophets, and can make magic and fool the crowd. And yet, in another place in the book of Luke, chapter 7, and in John, chapter 4, his student came to him and say, how can you prove to us that we should believe in you? He say, because I'm able to do magics. You just said yourself, don't believe in people that are able to walk on water or to feed people with a loaf of bread, many people. Why? It's magics. The Egyptians used to do it, as you read in the Torah. Moses throws his cane, becomes a snake. Comes the impure Egyptians, one of the worst nations in history, the ancient Egyptians. Each one of the kids threw his cane, he became a snake. Does that mean they're God? The Torah just told you. If they're able to make magics, they are nothing, because this is a power that God put in nature, that the impure people are able to do magic. Is that an indication that he's the Messiah? For sure not. Plus, he himself admitted, don't believe people who make magics. And they ask him, how do we know you're the Messiah? Because I'm making magic. Is God making such mistakes, such contradiction? I'm sure that is not. The next question is,
could you email me these questions?
I am. No, you don't need it. You're going to have a recording. I'm going to give you a recording.
I have to be able to answer these questions. You want a good answer, right?
Whatever you can, whatever you can answer right now, you have the time to do it. Whatever you cannot answer right now,
you won't cut me off.
Give us one answer.
No, wait. I didn't finish. Believe me, I got to put some of the. Oops, I'm sorry. Okay, the next question. I got to bring these questions out because I don't have a problem sitting here and listening to your answer. Don't get me wrong. I have the time. And even if the crowd will leave, I'm going to still stay here to listen because I am seeking for the truth. But I told you, this is all short questions, as you see. Not like the first ones. First one were very long, but I learned my lesson.
You don't know how long the answer is going to be. You
have
to do a big exposition.
No, I tell you what, I'm afraid of another 20-minute speech about one of the, and the night is over.
How about my fears? How about my fears at the end of this question?
You're giving me under the belt now. Okay, so I'm almost done. I'll cut some. Almost done, and then you have the microphone for yourself. The next question that I got for you is, the Torah, as you admit, is the Word of God. Say you should love your friend like you love yourself. And in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, he say, love your friend and hate your enemies. The Torah never say it. The Torah say the opposite. Even if you have a Jew that is not your lover, is not such a great friend, he speak bad about you, is still your brother and you have to love him. Comes the book of Matthew chapter 5 and say, love your friend, but hate your enemies, contradicting the Torah clearly. It's the same God, remember. They claim that God also gave that. Comes the Torah and say, you should love your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your money. Meodecha.
May I respond? If you are really a truth seeker, and I trust you are, may I just respond
to which one?
Because the last one is going to be very short.
Okay.
And very easy.
Which one? You should love your friend like you love yourself?
Yeah. Okay, let me read that in context. As you probably know already about me, context is very important. Without context, we can't arrive at any meaning.
Yeah.
And so Jesus says, you have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. You see, what Jesus is arguing against...
The words for me.
What Jesus is arguing against is not Tanakh. He never spoke against Tanakh, but simply to say he would fulfill it. What he is arguing against there is the misrepresentation of Tanakh. Because you're perfectly right. Nowhere in Tanakh does it say, hate your enemies.
Okay, thank you. So now, it was my next thing to you to say is that the New Testament says, if a person hits you on one side, he slap you on your face, give him the other side. That's what it says. Give him the other side. The Torah comes and says, if a person attack you, you have the right to attack him first. Right? Everybody understand that? So it contradicts.
Can I respond to that?
Yes.
Okay. Jesus often talked in hyperbolic language. That's